Hardest Cut was first song Alex and I wrote when we came back to Austin, and started with, you had some chords.
Chords and like melody light.
Yeah, and then I came up with this drop D riff that kind of felt like highway rock, right?
Which is very fitting because I had just literally driven in
Yeah, that's true.
on the highway.
I wanted to do a song like "Run, Run, Run" by The Who, and that's kind of was the blueprint. Like he had the chords, and then I said, well, let's go down this kind of beat, you know. I think to the point that, you know, that song originally had tons and tons of cymbals on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we recorded, we tortured Jim. We made him record the drums without cymbals, which feels very unnatural to drummers.
Yeah.
You know, they want to hit the way that they do when they're regularly playing live. And then we did a separate take where Jim hit
Right.
all of the cymbals only.
Right.
You know, it's kind of technical, right? But
Yeah.
it's a cool thing that when done right, it sounds fantastic.
The drums can be super loud and big,
And boomy.
and you fit the cymbals in like they're
Yeah.
not. They don't mess everything up.
No one knows was recorded like that, right? It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
straight up
Right.
drums, and then you do overdubs of
Yep.
the hats, and you just can have these fantastic sounds. But the more that we mess with the song, the more that we realize these cymbals, we'd pull them back
Well,
in.
my recollection
Okay, tell me how it went.
was that someone had forgotten to turn the cymbals on or something, and then we walk in listening that day, and everyone's like, "Man, like what's up with this? What's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh Lord, here we go." And I'm like, "Yeah, what about the cymbals?" And then, yeah, they just kept getting lower and lower each time, and then
Yeah,
I think everyone didn't want to hurt my feelings. You know, everyone tried, but it's just like it was way better without the cymbals. You know.
yeah, it was a lucky accident because we would have had those cymbals locked in there, and
Exactly.
it kind of, yeah, it's better without it.
We
You can
wouldn't
hear
have
that-
known. Yeah.
You can hear that riff better, and
Yeah.
it just became more about the riff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that breakdown part came from, but it kind of added this element of the whole thing feeling like it was sort of falling apart and melting, you know. And it's nice to have a sec to get away from the beat. I don't know how we
Yeah, I
came
don't
up
know.
with it.
I don't know either, but I do remember being like, let's put another one on. Oh, let's try putting another one on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's try putting another one on.
Yeah, so the more we played it, the more that we kept leaning on that trick.
Yeah.
And then had Gerardo play this guitar solo that, you know, I said, do your best Dave Davies. And I think
It's a great
pretty
solo.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We've never had a solo like that on a Spoon record before.
I don't understand how that works. How he
How he played it,
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
it's great.
he did it.
Lyrics ended up being about a long, unhealthy relationship. Knowing that was the case did not make it any easier to end it, and that's why it was the hardest cut. Cutting that out of my life was not easy. There's the lyric, the hardest cut.
We went into it thinking like we want to make a Texas record in Texas. And you know, you go in to make a record and you have this idea about how you want to do it, and sometimes it ends up working out that way and other times it doesn't. So it was kind of affirming that it did work out that way, because it, you know, it has like the ZZ Top kind of thing going on it, and like this like Texas riff kind of thing. And so it was like, okay, actually like we're going down this Texas path, like as a whole it's working.
Right. But
And it was encouraging.
You know, we thought at some point, as it turns out, early on, we thought we were about almost done with the record. Then the pandemic hit, and I ended up writing all these other songs that had to go on there. But then we realized all of a sudden that we're a lot further away from getting a finished record than we thought we were. And songs like Lucifer on the Sofa and Wild, Devil and Mr. Jones had to all get on there, and the record kept developing. But having that sort of basis of the, I don't know, what would you call it, guitar rock, highway rock song on there kind of was forever our guiding light.
And kind of like it's every instrument exists in its space. Like the guitar solo happens, and there's not like a bunch of other guitars like sitting in there still. It's like that guitar comes in and another guitar goes away. Like it's just like
that's
making a room.
That's like it's like the first. It's like a Van Halen record, honestly, because you ever notice on Van Halen where Eddie will take a solo, the rhythm guitar goes away. It's
Because they're a band.
yeah, because they're a band. That's what happens.
That's how it works. So you can't do both.